Hello everyone, Pastor Ian, the Karabi Crafter here. I thought I would go ahead and make a video because I had posted on Facebook on the Tim Holtz Addicts page this Skelly that I made and the sheet of paper that I had cut it from, and got a lot of good responses. And I thought, you know, this was just so much fun to make. I wanted to make another one, but I want to show you guys how I do it. If you have Skelly, or if you have any of the skeletons, but I love Skelly. I think you can still find him. When you look at the backs of the dies, if you know anything about the Colorize, you know on the back it tells you the colors: brown 1, 2, 3, neutral 1, 2, 3. And you can make him just using colored cardstock. But here's what I found: it's so much more enjoyable to spray a sheet of watercolor paper and get that organic look. And that's what we got from this one. And I honestly don't quite remember all the colors I used. And in the process of making Skelly, I did some more papers, and I've already cut this one out. Those are the pieces that are laying here. It came out of this piece here. But I do want to show you the other ones I've prepared. And at the end of this video, I'm actually going to spray another sheet to show you how I get this technique. This one, this is on just a multimedia paper, a heavy cardstock multimedia. It's not not Ranger or anything. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. Spray the colors on there, spray some water on it, tip it up, down, let it run. You can see all of the drips running through that. And then at the end, we hit it with some water and get the spots. So when we go to cut this out, you're going to have a very natural, very organic the look to the different parts of the skull. This was done with stain, spray stain. And then this one was also done, this one was done on just on watercolor cardstock. And this one, and I've already cut it in half. I think it was this way. Yep. So it was like that. And so I've already cut it in half so it'll fit through the die cutting machine. And I did this with spray stains. Everything was done with spray stains while it was wet, and I just kind of let it run together and do its own thing. I dried it a little bit and sprayed a little bit more if I didn't like the way it looked. And then on top of that, I did put some oxide. If you'll remember, oxide is dye and pigment. That's why you can see it on top of the stain. If you put stain on stain, it's just gonna kind of, even if it's dry, you're not gonna get that same vibrant color. But the great thing about oxide is oxide will layer on oxide, and that top color is going to be dominant because it's a dye and pigment blend. And so you can see how just sitting on top of this is this dark background, and yet when I sprayed the oxide on top, you can see after it dried. And by the way, this is stain. If you want to see the difference, let me see if I can get up here where you can see it. This was spray stain, this is spray oxide. So the stain on stain, it darkens, and the bottom layer kind of comes through a little bit, and it's very different. But the oxide, you get these wonderful spots. And I was going for kind of a moldy look, a moldy old skeleton look. Honestly, I love the way this looks on the edge here. I used some dark brown. Oh, that's too dark, and I stopped. And then when it dried, I was like, well, I really like this. And so we're gonna try and get some more of that, a little more browns in the next one that we do. But these pieces are ready to go. And I will show you this one. This one was done using old paper and antique linen. And this is what I cut the teeth out of. And the little, like I think the little top plate of its head, there's a top piece that goes on it. Yeah, well, I'll show you here. So the teeth and this top piece and these little highlight, I did them out of this just to give it a little contrast. I just felt like the teeth and maybe at least a little bit of the bone should have kind of just that normal antique look. So that's that. But I've already cut a Skelly out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one together. Skelly goes together really easy. So we're gonna do this as quickly as we can. I'll try and edit this down. And if you want to skip to the end, you can. I'm not using the cheat sheet. I'm gonna try and do this from memory. I've only made the one, but I do have him for reference. Okay, that's gonna help. But really, when you're working with the Colorize, the thin lit Colorize, they have well, you won't be able to see it. When you cut out, let me get the main die that one was cut from. This is actually what cut this piece out right here, okay? All right, and so it just pops out. But you see these little ridges? It actually puts them into the die piece. And why is that important? Because those little ridges are gonna tell me that this guy, Well, number one, it clearly lays on top of that, but there's that little bow tie looking piece. It's actually impressed into that layer, bottom layer. So that just helps me to line it up. So we're going to do that. And there's other places too, which show me, you can't see it on camera, but where the teeth go. You'll see it when you go to put it together, and it's super easy. Also, this piece here is right here. And let me see, actually, nope, that's not the right piece. Let me see what we've got here. Let me pull that up a little closer to the camera and see what I've got. Yeah, that is that piece. That is that piece. And it goes like, I could be wrong. Oh, there it is. There we go. And you've got that little short chopped off end that just fits right up against that. And to help me line it up, I just line it up with the edge. But again, there's a little line there. And what I want to do, got a little piece of paper there. There's a line there, and you're going to want to line it up with that line. So when you're putting these guys together like this, you have it's real easy to do. So we're going to throw this guy together. And there's actually a third piece that goes on there before I do anything else. Let's see, those two pieces will go on. And then I think there's another piece before I put on the black layer. I feel like I'm missing a piece. But this is going to cover it, so we're not going to worry about that. And then this will go over the black, and you can see that clearly. It just fits right on top. So I can just go ahead and lay him there because I know he's going to go there. This guy is then going to go on top of this guy to give you a third layer. It's really easy once you do one. It just really comes together really well. This little piece here, I feel like goes on. I may have to go watch the video. But all right, so we're going to take a pause for just a little second. Make sure I know what I'm doing. Make sure I got all my pieces, and then we're gonna put this guy together for you. Okay, so we've got everything where we need it to be. So what I also do with all my pieces, not the back pieces, but what I do with these smaller pieces, with any of my edge pieces, is I just take some, I'm using gathered twigs, and I just use a little blending tool, and I just go around the edges to, number one, kill that white, but also just to try and get a little bit onto the die cut, which is going to give me that shadow effect. And I'll show you what I mean on the one that I've already done in just a second. And you can go a little bit more onto it if you want. And so there's that piece. And I did find there is a third little piece that's going to go on there. So we're going to go ahead and do him. And I do have the tiny daubers, which I love the tiny. I'm doing this off camera. I just realized you can't see what I'm doing, I don't think. All right. And so I do have the tiny daubers, which will help with these smaller pieces. So you can already see the difference there. It's giving it that nice shadowed edge. Not too worried about this piece because some of this is going to get covered up by the other piece. But I want to make sure that that I get that shadow look. I just don't want any of the white paper to show through once it's put together. So those pieces are ready. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and do these as well. And so just putting that over the top, just trying to tone down some of that white that shines through, because don't really want that. Okay. And if you have like a little blending brush or even just you can use those too, but the foam does work. So let's go ahead and get this guy here, and you can see how he looks now. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put that highlight on. You can use any brown, but I do like the dark. Gathered twigs is just the right shade of brown for me. I feel like anything else, any other of the darker shades would just overpower the whole piece, and I don't want to do that. And so all we're trying to do is just trying to soften those edges. And I'd recommend doing this. You put one together and you don't do it. And I did that. I did it last minute on that one. So let me do that. And I just like the way it looks. I don't think I would like it any other way. I've got some small pieces over here. We're not going to worry about doing those. Actually, this is a little bit of a highlight piece. We do need to do this little round oval because it kind of stands out. And so we're going to do that. And then this super tiny one. And we're just going to kind of, yep, getting it on my fingers, but that's just part of crafting to me. We're not going to worry about these other little pieces. Now, let me show you. Actually, I do want to do this big piece here. I almost forgot about this guy. because it's going to be a prominent top piece. So let's go ahead and just hit him. And you can already see the difference between there and here, where it's starting to give you that shaded edge. And it's going to help with shadowing and shading. It's just going to look so much better. I'll grab the other Skelly and I'll show you what I mean. And so we're just going to work in there. And if, you know, that little groove, I'm not worried about. If I needed to get in there, like I said, I've got some small blending brushes I could use, but that's all I want. We're just more concerned about highlight areas right now. We'll put him there. That's it for that. So if you see what I mean on this one, that little brown right in there. So this is the edge, this is the edge, this is the edge. And you can just see, and even around here, and I didn't do these guys, oh, I didn't need to. But see, even around here and right around the edge, just darkening him up. And then I actually want to hit the sides of him again, but before I actually use him. But that just kind of helps give you that shadowy, a little bit of a shading effect. So there we go. So when we start putting them together, it's super easy to put together. I'm actually going to, and I use, I've got an old bottle of multimedia matte here that I use. Let me make sure we got, yep, that's where and so we're going to just, let me put a little bit on there. And then I just use my finger to kind of smooth it out. I got a little more than I needed there. A little goes a long way with this. All right. And then we're just going to, we're going to put him right up on the edge. Again, there's lines there, but I'm not really looking at those lines. I'm just lining it up with the edge, the outer edge of the skull, the base of the skull there. And then we're just pressing it right down. And just hold it for just a second. And you can already see what I mean by putting that in there. See, it made it gave it that nice look. And look at that, just that organic, the spottiness of it. And when this comes together, it's going to look like a weathered skull. I mean, it's so cool. So we got that piece there. I'm going to go ahead and I did find, like I said, we found this little guy who goes, he goes right up against the edge there, just like that. So we're going to go ahead and do him. And I'm going to just try and get just a very small amount to come out of this bottle, because it does not take much. There we go. Smooth that around. And then we come right in here and we just put him right up on the edge, just like we did the other one. We can press down. And so see why we browned the edges? You're beginning to see the dimension and the depth take place. And it would have been fine without that. It really makes this cut more prominent. I will show you this very quickly while I'm thinking about it. You'll notice on Skelly, the little black breaks in the skull. I didn't use them on this guy, and I'll tell you why. Because I felt like it clashed with the end result. I could put them on. If you like them, use them. If you don't, you don't have to. But it's up to you. I just felt like, because of the way it went across and because of the color and what I had done, I just didn't like that. I felt like I didn't want a cracked Skelly. I like the natural stripes. So I didn't use those, but you can. All right, so now we got to put this guy down on the bottom, and we'll put a little bit there. Put a little bit here, as I want to make sure this piece stays down. And I just use my fingers when I'm using this. I don't mind. And I don't mind getting glue on my glass media mat. I know Tim says, oh, you got to scrape it off. Yep, I have a scraper. And that's exactly what I do. I just scrape it off. I'm going to line up that little bow tie at the top. This one's a little bit more crucial, because you'll see why in a minute. Okay, so I got the bow tie lined up at the top, everything else lined up, and then we just press and hold. And those first three pieces are the ones that go on top of that base. I almost hate to cover that base up because it looks so good. I'm fixing to lose all of that goodness. In hindsight, that I think would have looked better than this, because this is just too solid. But we can, you know, see how when I cover it up. But you know, I don't know. Maybe it'll be all right. But all right. Anyways, the black the black piece has to go on first. So let's go ahead and whatever that is on my paper, let's go ahead and let's put some glue on this guy. And we're making sure, I want to make sure I get it to the edges. Okay, and I really want to make sure that I get it on the teeth. What's great is when with this black, you can really see it. And again, that's way more glue than I needed to put on there. And so we'll just do this and wipe off my finger. Let's get a little bit of that extra, make sure we got it on the edges. All right. And yes, it's trying to curl up, but that's not the end of the world. Now this guy's going to fit right into that spot right there. Let me bring the edge right there. We pull him, push him. Let's get him in there a little. Get in there, get in there. I'm watching my teeth. I'm looking at my edges because I don't want this one to, it's not wanting to get in there quite the way it needs to. There we go. And there's a tooth that doesn't want to line. There we go. Got the tooth lined up. Got everything lined up. And we press down, press down, press down. And we got that. And the only thing that this is here for is to give you the eyes and a little part of the eyes and the nose. That's literally all it is. So there we go. All right, and once we get that put on, my edges look good. Don't worry about this stuff shining through. This is all going to be, if there looks like, oh, that doesn't look right. It will be. Because again, this is going to go right over the top. And you're going to have, and it helps to give you that dimension. And then this just literally fits right on top of that one. Okay. And let me see what I've got going on here. Yeah, so I would want to make sure I pull that off, Everything's looking good. I like that. So I think when I line this one up, I'm actually going to line up from the outside edge. So you see how everything covered up? And now you have these little toothy places coming through. And anyways, it works out really well. So let's put some glue on this guy. And the only reason I'm using this bottle, is because I bought these a long time ago. And surprising enough, they did not dry out. Again, I put way too much on there. And I'm just trying to use these little bottles up because I have precision tip glue that I use. I use the Colorize medium. I use it with a brush and different things. But as you can see, I don't have a problem finger painting, even with glue. So, all right, we've got that. So now we're going to bring him down here. We're going to put him right there. I'm going to pick this up so that I can make sure that I'm getting everything where I want it. It looks good. The edge looks good. Everything looks good. And then we just press down. Yep, that's it. That's perfect. If you have distress crayons, and I do, something else you can do is when you're finished, you can go back over this and then put a little distress crayon in those grooves if you'd like. Okay. So there we go. And I'm off camera. There's a little glue booger there. I'm just getting rid of that. Okay. So there we go. Yes, I got some glue on the back of it because there's glue on my mat. But as I said, I'm not worried about that. I have one of these guys right here. And you just literally just gently, and it'll take the glue right off. So when I'm finished, I'll do that. Okay. So this is how he's looking so far. There we go. I already like, again, this one was much lighter, much greener. This one got a little too dark, and I muddied that up a little bit, but that's still, I mean, it looks like a moldy old skull. It's so natural. You can blend, you can use a blending brush to make the backgrounds. I just use the sprays and it gives them an organic look, but you could blend and then use water. You can do it however you want to. So what we'll do again at the end is we'll do a spray one, and I may even do one with blending brushes just to show you how you can help to get a little more of that color that you might like, a little more targeted color. But I do love this green in here. That just looks really, it looks moldy, and this just looks like a little, maybe just a little dusty or dirty. So anyways, so there's that. So we've got that coming along. Now, let me see. Again, I'm not watching the video. I'm just looking at what we have. And there's a little groove here. There's a little spot here, which tells me that this little piece right here goes on next. All right. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to pop him on. And I'm going to use just, I'm going to, once again, I'm not going to get carried away with the glue this time. Oh, that's perfect. I mean, it really, and then I got to make sure I get some on this piece here so it doesn't come off. And then we just line it right up. There's a little groove there again. I can see it. And there it is. Almost. Almost. There we go. There we go. And just press it down. And as long as you haven't pressed all the way down, as long as it's still a little wet, you've got some wiggle room. But again, just collage medium. And this is multimedia matte, which I guess is, again, that's, I don't even think they call it that anymore. Maybe they still sell it. I don't know. I use collage medium, distress collage medium. This is old too, and it's holding up really well. But anyways, so there you go. So there's that piece. And you see you got the layers, so you get this nice 3D dimension. Just looks amazing. Okay, so there's that. All right, let me see. What do we think is next? Could be any number of pieces. I know this guy's going to go right here. And I'm pretty sure I could go ahead and put him on. Actually, I can put him on. Boy, he's sitting right into the groove. He's fitting right there, too. But I've also got these eyes that go on. So let's see which one to, what's going to be easier to do first. If I put the eye on, then I can sandwich this guy right down in the middle there, or I can butt the eyes up to him. I feel like I want to do the eyes first. I can't remember how I did this one, but I do remember I struggled a little bit with it. So I think maybe because I did this first and then the eyes. In the video, tells you online how to do it, but you know, you do you. I'm putting the eyes on first. I'm going to put the eyes on first. The outer part of the eye, I should say. And then we're going to grab our glue. Oh, that's right. I forgot I didn't use the collage medium for this. So I'll show you what I did. I'll show you what I did. I'll do the other eye better. Okay. And then we are going to lay him right inside, and there's lines, so we're going to put him right where he needs to be. Boom. Press down. There's that one. And then we've got this other guy over here, and he's going to go right over that eye right there. But what I'm going to do is apparently nothing. Because the item I was looking for, I don't see it. Oh, there it is. So I have one of these, and this works okay. It's not my favorite tool, but it works okay because it once you get the ink on, you can draw with it, and you get the glue flowing, and you just draw. And when I got a little thin piece of paper, like a thin piece like that, I want to make sure I get glue on it, and so we'll do that. And then we'll put this piece on right there. Boom. And then just press and hold. And there you go. Dried glue, messy matte, doesn't bother me. It's a work surface. Work on it. Okay. So there's that. Now I can go ahead and put this piece on, and I will use the multi-matte. I will use this Collage Medium Multi-Matte for that. Again, way too much. Okay, there we go. Okay, and we're going to come right here. And once I find the edges, oh, that worked much better. So putting those eyes on allowed me to just drop that piece right in there on top of the eyes. And so, and you can see, I don't know if you can see the grooves on it right here. There's grooves on it. That's because, well, there's a piece somewhere that I cut and clearly have misplaced. So, Oh, that's right. Okay, I haven't cut that one out yet because it's attached to the teeth. It's the same piece that comes on the teeth. So we'll be cutting that out in a minute. Okay, so there's that. There's that. Let's see what all we've got here now. Oh, and also, when we put these two little cheek pieces on here, let me get over in camera. I'm sorry, guys. There it is. Let's turn you back over. Let's get you back over. These two little round pieces, one's going to go here, one's going to go here. And then on top of that, they'll even go another little, so this is the bigger one, the little one, and then on top of that, you'll have this piece and this piece, but I cut that out with the teeth. You could leave those off, but I thought it looked okay. It's a little bit too light for me, but it'll be all right. So there we go. And you could even try this, cutting the teeth out of the same color. It's just then it's really gonna, I think it would really blend in too much. So let's leave him there. All right, and this guy is this is the nose piece, and he's gonna go right here. And he is really, boy, he's just really blending in. I'm not sure that I'm a fan of that. So at this point, what I would normally do is I would cut another one of these, maybe out of a slightly lighter piece, because I feel like he's kind of getting lost in there. Even this piece, you know, with the highlighted edges is just not, it's just not quite working. Let me see if I can bring this guy to life a little bit. What have we got? What have we got over here? Let's see. Let's see. Here we go. So I'm going to grab a blending brush because that's going to allow me to, and I'm not using that. That's going to allow me to, oh yeah, I like that much better. Okay, there we go. I can see the brown going on, so that's going to darken that piece up a little bit, and that's going to help to, that's really going to help to make that piece stand out just a little bit more. If I really want to, I just put it on the, and then we're going to put a little bit more brown on top. And let's see what happens when we, put that on. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, that's, yep. See the difference? I hope you can see the difference. I can see the difference. So I just needed to get draw a little more attention to that piece. Let's put a little glue here. Oop, again, too much, whatever. Does not take much. I'm moving it because I'm making a mess with the glue. But that glue, if you're not careful, will activate your ink. I've had that happen before, and I've had it kind of pull ink off of the paper, and I don't want that to happen. All right, let's put that guy right there. Press down, get him glued down. Now, you can see the difference. So it gives him a little more depth by coloring him in like that. Okay. All right, let's put you there. Let's get this wonderful guy. And just for the sake of, just because it's such a smaller piece and it's easier. Just pop him in right there. And this one is super small. And I know boom. Okay, there's that. Oops. And we've got this little guy here, this one little piece here. He goes underneath the jaw. He goes right here underneath the jaw line. So I'm going to go ahead and If you don't want as much of a dimensional Skelly, some of these layers, you could leave them off. It wouldn't hurt to not have this, but I'm going to go ahead and use it anyways, just because. Almost messed that up. There we go. There we go. And that one looks pretty good. It kind of blends in, but it also has a little bit of that green look, so it looks like he's just like a little moldy green bone stuck in on there. But there we go. So we're almost done with this guy. I mean, really, wow. That's how fast he comes together. I got to do the teeth, but I haven't cut those out. Now, this is where you have options. And so I'm going to show you what a couple of them are. This is what I'm talking about, leaving stuff off. This little guy lays right there, and that's just an extra little bone piece, okay? You could leave him off. I put him on this one. No, yeah, I did. I put him on this one, but I don't, honestly, you can't really tell. It's just a dimensional piece. So I'm toying with leaving him off. Also, around the eyes, right on the inside, there's these other tiny little pieces that go right around the inside of the eyes, and that's these guys right here, and they just lay right on the inside of the eyes. But depending on the color you're using and depending on how you do it, they're not that visible, and they're tiny pieces, and they're a pain to work with. So here's what I'm going to do on this one. I'm not going to use them. I'm done. Boom. That's it. I mean, I can't even see them on these guys unless I look really closely. If I were going to use those, I would want to use, then I would definitely want to make sure I use like a lighter color or a darker color so that it stood out. If you can, on the diagram, it's a dark brown. It's super small, and you probably can't see that in this picture. But it's just, to me, it's not necessary. I really wish I could duplicate these colors. I just went too dark on this one. But there's the first one. We're going to set him aside. We don't need to see him anymore. So there's this guy, just that fast. That's how he went together, you know, fairly quickly. Without me talking and just doing it, it's a lot faster. When you do one of these, super easy because the pieces, they line up. They show you where they go. It's just super easy. So the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back over here. I'm going to grab this guy. I'm going to cut out some more teeth. And then I'll come back and we'll put the teeth on. I'll show you. The teeth are a little tricky. All right, guys, let me show you something that I just figured out. Literally just figured out. Okay. When you cut out this piece here with the teeth, if you don't lose track of what you've cut, then this, and I already pulled some out. I had to run it back through, and it actually goes this way. Okay, because you see this is the 3. All right, that goes right there. If you pay attention and don't lose track, don't just pop it up and your teeth go everywhere. This is how you put on the top row, and this is the bottom row, ready to go. So what I'm doing is, as I pull these teeth out, is I am keeping them in the order that they were in on the die cut when I cut them out with a die. And see that one there, I almost got it in the wrong spot. So we're going to put him, let go of the, all right. We're going to put him right up here where he belongs. There's an easier way to do this, but there we go. Oh, okay, all right. Well, I know he goes right there. Not going to go perfect. And so now what I'm going to do is, let me just pop these 3 out and just get this, I'm going to get this piece out of the way. All right. And I'm going to take the teeth and I'm going to lay them in order, just like that, because that's how they're going to go on Skelly. And there's my highlight piece. And then we're going to move this out of the way. If you're wondering, if you saw the magic mat, if you're wondering, oh, is it any good? I love my magic mat. Since I've had magic mat, no more warped plates. I love them. I love my magic mat. Okay. All right, let's bring Skelly down here. So now what we can do is we just start putting on the teeth. And this top piece right here, there's a plate, there's the outline, so you know where he goes. So you see when I put him on, you see how bright that is? So I'm not a huge fan of that because it just seems to clash with the rest of Skelly. Even when I did this one, I don't like that. So we're actually gonna darken this up a little bit, and we'll put that on in a minute. and even the little cheek parts. I can go ahead and glue them on and then fix them, but for now. All right, so what do I want to use? What I want to use is I want to use the easier glue to use when I'm putting Skelly together. All right, and that's going to be this, something like this, either a fine tip applicator or something like this. It's a very nice liquid pen that just works well. And then we just pop him right in there. There's his first set of teeth. I'm gonna grab this tooth, put a little glue on him, pop him right in here. And then we're gonna grab this guy, put a little glue on him, pop him right in there. What you want to do, there's the gum line, the recessed gum line, so that you're going to kind of line up the tips with that, but you want the bottom of the tooth to line up with the bottom of Skelly. There's going to be a gap there. You want that gap, okay? Don't try to, well, I got to fit the teeth up in there. Why is there a gap here? It's supposed to be there. You want the bottom of the teeth to line up down here. I actually got him a little bit crooked, but that's not the end of the world. And see, because now I've got one more tooth that goes over here. Well, how do I know where to line him up? Well, there's a very fine line. You can't really see it. It's stupid small. But I know that I just need to line that tooth up with the bottom. So what I'm going to do is put some glue on there. And then we're just going to line him up with that bottom piece. Press down. And there's Skelly's top teeth. Just like in the drawing. So just remember that. And then these here, they're all going to go right here. And I'm going to work from right to left. Oh, this will be fun. Okay. All right. Now I know, that that was the one that was over here. And we're going to put a little glue on him. And let's get him glued right there. I don't know if they flip-flopped on me or not. By the way, you know what? So like I said, this is the trickiest part of Skelly. Sorry, I wasn't talking there. You were bored. What is he doing? I'm having a blast. That's what I'm doing. All right, so we got that tooth on. Do I want to? I don't mind using this thing. It has its purposes, but these two, I can work with this. I just need to be careful. Make sure it doesn't pop out of my reverse tweezers. And all I'm doing is lining this up. There are little grooves, bottom gum line, and all I'm doing is lining the tooth up with the top of the outline. So that one went right on. These are a little bit bigger. Those two on the end there are a little bit small. But we're just putting some glue on here. And then we just line it up with the top of the gum line. Press it down. All right, and if you're wondering, say, well, this tooth looks smaller than that one. Yeah, the teeth are a little bit wonky. I don't know if that's how our teeth are or just how the design is. But that's just how that's how this one is. And so we're gonna grab that. And we're gonna put that, we'll put a little glue on him, and we put the last tooth on. We put the last tooth on. And there you go. And that's it, guys. That's the teeth. That's Skelly. So the teeth are a little offset. They're a little jagged. They look a little weird, but that's just the design. And you can see the gap in the different sizes in the teeth, small, large, small, larger. So that if you're wondering, well, they should go uniform. Nope, they actually don't. And I'm a little disappointed that one slid down. That one's off the gum line, but it's not the end of the world. All right, there we go, guys. There's Skelly. There are a couple more little pieces to put on. But what I'm going to do, do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? That's a good question. That's what I want to do. Let go, let go, let go, let go. A little glue on your tweezers and you'll have that problem. You do it like I'm doing. All right, come on. There we go. If you've never known this technique, you just lick your finger, pick up any little piece of paper. I love it. All right, so what we're going to do with this one's going to be real easy. I'm not even trying to hold it down. I'm just going to let it just do its own thing. It's just, you know, and it's a lot easier. There's other ways to do this. Cut it out of, obviously, cut it out of brown paper. But anyways, all right. And because these pieces come attached to the teeth, well, all right. And I just want this piece to be a little more, I just want it to be a little more brown. So that's what we're doing. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. We're almost done here, guys. If you're still hanging in there with me. Done with this part. Like I said, I'm going to spray. I'm going to make a background for you. I have to take a break here in just a minute because I am going to have to go to work. Oh, give me the, what did I do with it? What did I do with it? Oh, it's right here beside me. Okay. All right. Let's get some glue. I just bought, these are at Hobby Lobby. You want to be careful with something like this. The great thing about collage medium is that it does, it shrinks when it dries. Okay, and there's no residue. If you're not careful, if you use the wrong kind of glue, it might bleed through and you'll have a little, you'll have little glue boogers that you don't want. See, I like that better. I like that brown better than that white. It just looks like just looks a little more like bone. Just looks a little better. And in the process of doing all that, the little tiny piece that goes on top of here. Did I have that? Did I even do that one, or I don't know. I don't need it. Like I said, these pieces are extra. You could honestly do without them. I'm just trying to show you what it looks like. So we're going to take this piece here and we're going to line him up with that piece there. Line him up. There's grooves. So I know right where he goes on the cheek. And we push him in. There's that. And then we have this last little bottom chin plate, which, well, now let me hold it up and see if I can figure out where it goes. Yep, it goes, there's a little groove, goes right down there. I could have looked at my other one too, but you don't need one for reference if you just follow your pieces, let your pieces speak for themselves. All right. Guess what? Skelly's done, minus a couple pieces. Didn't put the little highlight on this small cheekbone, and we didn't put the things around the eyes, but that's entirely up to you. And we also didn't put that last piece right there. Honestly, he's done. He looks good to me. These are two beautiful Skellys. And I do like that darker a little bit than this. This, I could fix that. We would just go over it with a blending brush, but I'm going to leave him. And you see the highlight and the highlight, but I like it blended in. There's a little groove there I can see now where that piece is missing. That may bother me later on. I may go back and do something with it. If you wanted to, just for kicks and giggles, if you have any sparkles or, oh gosh, whatever those, whatever you want, you could put some of that on there. And I'm totally forgetting the name of those. Stickles, sparkles, stickles. You could put some on there. Give them a little sparkly cheek. Give them rosy cheeks if you want. Whatever. But there you go. So there's the first one. There's that one. All right, so I'm going to get some paper ready and some sprays ready, and then we'll make a video for you guys and show you how I make these backgrounds. I'm going to try and get a little bit more of this. So we'll just see how that goes. All right, guys. So what I've got is a splat box. I've got a smaller one. This is a homemade splat box. This is bigger. But I've actually got, this is my normal splat box, good old Tim Holtz splat box. But I took an old box and I just made this one just because I made this one just because, you know, it's bigger, it's easier to work with. And this is just heavy watercolor cardstock. This is, let me see what we got. Looks like it is 140 pound cold press watercolor cardstock. And I get this at Hobby Lobby. It's Master's Touch. It's very inexpensive. And so we're just going to grab my big old thing of spray here, and let's see what we've got. And hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm not using the mic, so I'll try and stay where you guys can hear me. So what I want to do is, because I wanted the green look, again, we're using spray stains. So we're going to use this. There's not much left in this bottle here. So we're going to start with some Twisted Citron, which is sort of a bright green. And in order to, and I'm not wetting the cardstock, but in order to get this out of the bottle, we're going to, and I'm pretty much covering the whole thing. Okay. And that's it. And then I'm going to drop that down. Okay. Now, what do we want to fill it in with? If we want a little more green, let's put some forest. Let's see, this is forest moss. And you can see how rich and green that is. So at this point, because I'm getting all these spots, I want to add some water. Because I need to get movement. Because I don't want big black spots, big brown spots. I want movement. And I don't care if it all runs together. We want the movement. So all I'm doing is letting the water and letting the color do its own thing. And again, this is spray stain, not spray oxide. And see, look at that veiny look that we're getting already, okay? And then tap off the edge. That's what that paper towel's for. Just tap that off the edge. And if you feel like you're getting too much of the big ripples, or if you got a big run on the end, that's gonna be, honestly, it's probably gonna be trimmed off anyways. All right, there we go. There we go. All right, so I like that. I like what I'm getting there, but I definitely need some more brown. So let's grab a little frayed burlap. Let me see what we're gonna get. All right. Oh, wow, wow, wow. Look at that reaction. Look at that reaction. And the frayed burlap sitting on top of that beautifully. Now we're gonna stop. And what we want to do in those spots with the water and everything where it's just doing its own thing, I'm going to let it run together. And I'm going to stop, and I'm going to let this dry. I could use a heat tool. I don't normally use a heat tool. I prefer to let it air dry. But for the sake of time here, just to help out a little bit, let all the extra run off. And I'm not going to completely dry it, obviously. This is a much lighter, much greener, and I've used 3 colors. So at this point, once we get this dry, once I get it where I want it, I can go back over it with some more colors. And the paper's curling, it'll do that, but as it dries, the paper will flatten back out. There's just a little bit, there's a good bit of stain and water on there. Hit both sides. Hit this. All right, and it's starting to dry nicely. It just takes time. When a big piece like this, with a big piece like this, and there's a lot right in there. So what I'm doing is I'm watching the paper to see if it will uncurl itself. Yep, there it is. It's starting to uncurl. There we go. Your paper will uncurl once it dries. Look at that. You can see it. I think you can see it happening. I can see it happening. Hopefully you can too. But there we go. Boy, I was going to put more color on this, but I got to tell you, I actually like this. Okay, we're going to put that in there. Let's turn this off. And let's see what we got. Look at those natural, look at the, man alive, look at the way the browns, and we did it while it was all wet, so it did blend, so it muddies a little bit. But look at, we've got plenty of green in here, maybe more than we need. I love this little splotch. I may have to be very creative with how we cut that out. I just feel that could be like a bruise, I don't know, like a spot on the, I don't know, maybe on the jawline. Maybe that might be the perfect piece, like this piece right here, or this top piece. You'll probably cut it out. We'll see. But I like that. I wouldn't mind a little more brown. I wouldn't mind a little bit more. So I'm going to let it finish just drying on its own. I'm going to think about it, because once you add color, you can't take it back. If you get a piece and you're like, you know what? I like this. Stop. Don't do anything with it. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I think we're done with this, because I don't want to risk messing this up. And I actually like the greens and the brown spots in the hollow. It just has a, I like the way this came out. I think I can work with this. I'm done. I don't want to mess it up. Don't mess it. Just stop. You can always, you know what you can always do? I'll show you what you can always do. You come over here and you grab a whole nother piece of watercolor cardstock. I got 3 more pieces ready to go. Boom, boom, boom. And just do the same thing I just did, and then add more color to that. But if I mess with this, I'll never get this back. So I'm stopping. We're good. We're done. That one, that piece is done. So there you go, guys. I hope that helped. When you're doing something like a Skelly or any if you're doing a snowman, if you're doing anything, hang on one second. I wanted to put that down, and I'm gonna sit back down and move my camera for you guys. Let's just come down here and let's just adjust a little bit. There we go. And let's move this light out of the way. My craft room is horribly set up. It is what it is. It's a little room in my basement that I did the flooring, I did the walls, I turned it into a craft room. So it is what it is. You use what you got. Whenever you're putting anything like this, if you're doing any of the colorizes, they're called Thinlits, Colorize. Ta-da! So make backgrounds and then use them. I have the dragon, I forgot his name. I bought him way back and I haven't used him yet. I'm going to make my own greenish background with him and some browns, and I'm going to make my own. When I do make him, I'm going to do him on my own. But anytime you're working with any kind of, in any dye, just feel free to, do that. Let me show you this while we're here. I love this die set. I forgot what it's called. Something Leaves. It's one of Tim's die sets. And so I made some backgrounds. And I cut out the leaves. You want to see what they look like? I can show you what they look like. I got a huge pile of leaves right here. And because we're going into fall. So look at that. Look at that. Look at that reddish. And by the way, I'm going to take these. I have some. I don't know where they are. I may have already used them on a project. And I spritzed them with the new Distress Spritz. And the shimmery goodness goes beyond explanation. So these are all just, when Tim's making backgrounds, he says, what are you going to die cut? What are you going to do? You're going to die cut them. Yeah, you're going to die cut them. Let me show you what else I did. I was cutting pieces out and I was running out of room on the paper. So I wound up with, I wound up with these little scrap pieces. I'm not throwing these away because I can glue that to the edge of a card, and I've got a leaf pre-cut that's coming off the edge of the card. All right, so there's that. Look at these beautiful. This was done using, by the way, if you don't have these, if you can find these and get these, the Impress Lits. I love this oak leaf Impress Lit. That's hands down one of my favorite dies. You get a big one and a little one every time you do it. And so you can see this piece, there's a little more green and brown in the leaf. There's the big one, there's the little one. Look at that. Look at that texture. Look at that. Here's a big one and 2 little ones. Okay, look at that. And that's just a die cut. And it looks like a leaf that's naturally changing colors. So we've got those. We've got these guys here. I love the brown spots on that one. I don't even remember how I did that. I literally think I accidentally sprayed some brown. And I said, well, that's ruined. And then I said, I don't think it is. That looks like a leaf. You know how that gets those brown spots on them? I was right. So there's that. There's that one. Oh man, this one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then I'm just pulling these out and just look. Oh man, I thought I had ruined this background. I didn't know what I was going to do until I cut these leaves out, and they look a little dull, but I'm going to fix those with some resist spray. It's going to make them pop, or I'm going to some distress shimmer. I haven't decided, but there's I can't even. I want to throw these in the yard and go jump in them. I mean, I can't even, guys. Tim Holtz, I love this man. and hate him because he has cost me more money. I'm still married, hallelujah. But he got me hooked into a world that I never, ever would have thought, you know. And we can put Skelly in a pile of leaves. I mean, it just. All right, guys, there you go. Once again, Pastor Ian, the Krabby Crafter, as always, saying the ability to create, I believe, is a gift from God. So create, have fun. As always, until next time, happy Krabby crafting, and God bless.